Frozen entry. The wind screamed over the Alaskan tundra like a living thing. Snow whipped sideways across the abandoned mining town of Greely's Hollow, swirling in eddies around rusted metal buildings and collapsing shacks. The town had been swallowed by winter for decades. Satellite images showed nothing. No smoke, no movement, no life. It was exactly what the crew of Frozen Truth had come looking for. "All right, everyone," said Nina Vasquez, adjusting the hood of her parka as she stood in front of the creaking "Welcome to Greely's Hollow" sign, her breath fogged in the freezing air. "This is where it starts." Behind her, Marcus, their camera operator, adjusted the focus. "We're rolling," he said. The others stood just off camera. Dave, the sound guy and skeptic of the group. Lily, the intern who'd won the job through a Reddit contest. And Jeremy Quinn, a paranormal researcher who had spent 15 years chasing myths of the Greeley mine disaster. The town was exactly as it had appeared in the grainy aerial footage, desolate, lifeless, and coated in thick snow. The buildings leaned like drunks in a white graveyard. Somewhere beneath their boots, the entrance to Greeley Mine waited. They set up camp in what had once been the town hall squat, log building reinforced with stone. Inside, time had paused. Papers still lay scattered on desks. A child's mitten lay on the floor beside a coffee mug, its contents frozen into a solid block. "No one evacuated in time," Jeremy said quietly, running his gloved fingers along a frost-covered map on the wall. 37 people disappeared in less than 48 hours. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just gone. "Except the ones that were found torn to pieces, right?" Lily asked. Jeremy nodded. "But those were found later miles from here, and what tore them up didn't match any animal." Dave rolled his eyes. "Great, let's go poke it with a stick." Day 1. Descent. The mine entrance was a jagged mouth in the side of a hill, half buried by snowdrifts and fallen timber. Jeremy led the way, carrying a lantern that flickered faintly against the frozen dark. Their footsteps echoed down the shaft as they moved deeper into the mine, past rusted carts and half-finished tracks. The walls seemed to breathe with the cold, exhaling ice crystals and silence. "I don't like this," Nina whispered. "Feels like we're walking into something's throat." At 500 feet down, they found the breach. The story went like this. In 1987, the miners broke through a strange formation in the lowest tunnel. They called it the Black Wall, a slab of obsidian, like rock with carvings they couldn't identify. It was warm to the touch. They drilled into it. And then they started to die. What remained of the breach looked unnatural even now. The wall had shattered, leaving behind shards that shimmered in unnatural hues. The hole it revealed descended further far beyond the mapped mine. "There were no tunnels past this point," Jeremy murmured. "This shouldn't exist." They rappelled down, one by one. The darkness was heavier below. Their lights only reached a few feet before the black swallowed them whole. Something about the air changed thicker, almost wet, with a faint scent like burnt copper and wet leaves. The corridor they entered was not made by human hands. The walls were etched with symbols that writhed when looked at too long. Some had shapes that resembled faces. Others moved, just slightly. "This is not natural," Lily whispered. They set up motion sensors and left cameras rolling. As they walked, the corridor began to slope downward. "Feels like we're being pulled," Nina said. They passed alcoves, filled with stone reliefs, depicting humanoid shapes with elongated limbs and hollow eyes. In one carving, the figures knelt before a larger entity, featureless and towering, with dozens of hands and a void where its face should be. Jeremy stared at it for a long time. "I've seen this before," he said. "In a cave in Guatemala, and again in Nepal. Always the same god, always buried." "What's it called?" Marcus asked. Jeremy's lips barely moved. "Tholex, the god below." Night 1. The Whispering Cold. Back in the town hall, they reviewed footage. One of the motion cameras in the mine had triggered. "Could have been wind," Dave muttered. But when they played it back, the audio picked up something else. Whispers. Dozens of overlapping voices, speaking in a language none of them recognized. but Nina swore one of them had said her name. Lily didn't sleep that night. In the flickering light of her sleeping bag lantern, she stared at the cracked ceiling, listening. Sometime around 3 a.m., she heard footsteps just outside. Crunch, crunch, crunch. She peeked out the window. No one there. But the child's mitten that had been inside the town hall, it now lay just outside, in the snow, soaked in blood. To be continued.